Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Security Live. I am one of your hosts. My name is Brian Mendenhall. I am the worldwide head of the Security and Identity Partner Specialist Team, AWS, the longest title ever. But we are here on Security Live to bring AWS partners on to talk about all things security. We're going to cover deep dives into things you never heard of, never knew. We might even talk about the quantum realm or some theoretical physics. That's where I jump right into that stuff. We may talk about the history of security, but hopefully you're going to walk away with something that is going to help you in your day-to-day when it comes to security. I am not alone. I'm here joined by the wonderful and magnificent Ryan Orsi.
Thank you, Brian. Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan Orsi, the other co-host here for today, running a team called Cloud Foundations Partner Specialists. Brian leads up the security and identity part. There's cloud operations people. There's high availability resilience people. We just get to have fun all day working with AWS partners on these use cases. We are also going to have fun, hopefully have a little education moment here too. We just learned about what it means to fight ducks or bears of various sizes and quantities in the previous show.
Important stuff.
And audience, we're all here live. If you have a question for us, I think right now, producers would love to know, where are you watching from? Where are you all dialing in from? And while we see those comments stream in, we'd love to bring on our guest. I believe we have Yoav from Orca Security. Are you there, sir?
Yes. How are you guys?
Doing great, Yoav.
Yes. Fantastic. Yoav, would you mind, for the audience, kind of introducing yourself, what you do there at Orca? And, I would love to tell people, let us know if the career path was a perfectly straight line, or did you have a couple of detours?
So my name is Yoav. I'm the CTO at Orca Security, and I've been in the company for the last 6 years, which has gone pretty fast. Orca's mission is to secure cloud everywhere. So we work with our greatest partner, AWS, but we also secure other clouds because some people make mistakes. Just kidding.
About other clouds?
Yeah, they don't use the only AWS. Before my journey in security started, by accident. I was supposed to be a combat warrior in the army, and 8 days before my draft day, they decided that I should go and work with computers instead. So I got indoctrinated into cybersecurity. I didn't choose the path; the path chose me, and that's how I say it. But essentially, I got the honor and privilege to serve at Unit 8200. And learn from really the best minds in my area about security and how security looks in the real world. And yeah, then from there I went and decided that security is a solved problem, that we don't need any more security products or security, because I saw when I left the army, things like hardware mitigations were coming into Windows machines, and I said to myself, well, it's basically done. Memory corruptions are a dead art. We should move away to and do other things, and I was definitely wrong, and I spent my next years working in startups and also big companies as a researcher or security architect or CTO or all of the above.
Well, we are glad your path has led you to security, to working with AWS at Orca there. Thanks for that, Yoav. And, hey, maybe you can kind of give us, from your perspective, right? You're CTO here and at Orca. What's the latest, greatest? What kind of trends are you seeing? Everyone's buzzing about AI. You can use it as Orca, you can use it in your product to help us all out. Or as a cloud provider, we can host it for you, right? And then as a nefarious bad actor, they can leverage AI to manipulate things and to use it as an attack vector. So you can use it in all sorts of ways. What are you kind of seeing out there?
So we're seeing all of the above, essentially. But I would say that right now, I see that attackers always jump on the next new technology. They for some reason they love to do it, to try. So I saw in a lot of use cases where when Go was new and antiviruses were really bad at work at detecting Go binaries, they were like the first ones to use them. Same goes for Rust. They were very early on new. And right now, when they see AI as something that lowers the barrier of entry, you see it used immediately by everywhere. It's like attackers are. There are two types of attackers, what we call APT, which is advanced persistent threat.
You got you got the training. You got the
Yeah.
training on the
Well
acronym.
done.
I
She
saw
didn't
it.
even have to say it.
Nice.
Yeah, Jack had a hard time, so I'm trying. So advanced persistent threat, which essentially means they have all the resources in the world, and they will try to hack you anyway. But the majority, it's an economics game where they have their resources and they try to maximize the amount of leverage, money, or anything else that you can get by trying the things that cost the least. So sort of a capitalist system of the cybersecurity space. And in that case, like AI is a great provider of advantage for them because they can do a lot more with less. And we see like really cool tools for doing automated penetration testing that are used by companies to basically do much faster scans of your environment and to find critical things. But
on the reconnaissance side of this,
yes, on the reconnaissance side,
Mhm.
where you basically what have they? I used to do penetration testing myself, and I know how many hours, days, sweat, and tears I poured into just finding that weak spot within an organization, and now I can just throw an army of clods like and just watch them. So I became I used to be an old man screaming at clouds, and now I'm old man screaming at clods, which is really really changed my career. But on the flip side, as you've seen with Jack in the previous one, and also we in Orca, we leverage AI tools as well, and we think about them as the great equalizer, where if before you were dependent on the budget of your IT department or your security department to basically you had to prioritize all the time. Now you can decide, well, maybe I'll do this huge project because it's not as big as I thought. And one of the like the great the things that make me think that it's like really it's going to happen is a great use test case that AWS shared about their ability to basically bump all the versions of all their dependencies in Java by using LLM agents. So they were able to basically just take this huge swath of work, which basically held them back, and just throw agents on the task. And it's a great testament of the engineering in AWS, but it's also a testament to the level that the technology can get us. So
definitely, I think that was might have been an Amazon Q developer doing that, and it was really cool. If you haven't seen it, folks, I'm going to check that out. Amazon Q developer in Java. It was an internal thing across Amazon. I mean, Amazon's a gigantic company outside of just AWS here. But until now, Yoav, I used to call the great equalizer the Department of Motor Vehicles. Because it doesn't matter what status you have on the airlines or the hotels, but when you have to wait in line at that DMV, it is the great equalizer. It practices us all equally.
yes, it is.
I'm still trying to figure out how to get agents to clean my house for me. You know, like it's doing all the other tasks at scale. I got to figure out how do I get it to cut my grass? You know, so
So there, I saw like a lot of people talking about that for like, why don't they do the laundry and the grass and all of that? Why are they thinking like programming and writing poems and drawing? So yeah.
Exactly. I just had a fun conversation with I've got a good buddy of mine. He's a developer for Mozilla. And we were talking, he's like, hey, I got this Raspberry Pi. He's like, these things are so cool. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, we used to do Raspberry Pi with, like controllers to be able to do like process control things like, physical network stuff. And I'm like, man, we should deploy Raspberry Pis everywhere, throw agents at them, and like have them manage all of our day-to-day. Like go fill the gas tank in my truck. I'm getting ahead of myself, but drive the kids to school. But Yoav,
Emery Lee, sorry, Brian. Emery Lee, 2014. Thank you for such an easy handle to speak to. Not that I don't love everyone equally, but they're asking if there's case studies. I think when we were talking about Q developer upgrading Java, Java can be quite complex depending on the size of the application. If you search, well, there we go. Jeff Kubat's found the link, but that's the link to modernizing your Java application using Q developer. I think in that blog, you'll find the case study of what Amazon actually did ourselves, utilizing the technology. So, right.
I was rambling about the physical world, but Yoav, I think what I'm getting at is I'm curious at Orca, what are some of the cool things that you all are doing with like generative AI, agentic AI, just within in the security world?
So we have done like a lot of work with AI, and we actually started really early. Like we were very much very into it very soon, and actually like ChatGPT moment was in end of 22, and we started using like generative AI in the product at February of 23. So it was like really early on ChatGPT API. Like we encountered all the growth pains of all the providers trying to scramble GPUs to handle the demand. But we started with something really simple. Maybe you can share my screen.
Oh, cool. We have something to see. All right. What do we have?
So we have here what we started here was with remediation. So before that, we had remediation instructions which were like pretty generic, or they were tailored they were not tailored with the specifics of every single use case with its entire context. And what it allowed us to do is basically do this thing, which basically gives us a way to generate like remediations, either from the CLI, console, CloudFormation, CDK, and Terraform. And if you ask it to basically generate those remediations, it would go ahead and give you like something which is not perfect. And I say first thing, it's never perfect. But what it allowed us is to get the security folks who are usually the ones that were in the place where they try to prioritize or try to drive the conversation, and they don't and they are not the ones who are actually going out into the weeds and fixing things.
Right.
So so this allowed me to basically give the security people what they need to tell the developers what to fix, and talk to them in their language within their SDKs and within their technologies. And this was, and we found that it allowed like people in the organization who don't have a lot of skills in those areas to basically go ahead and try to contribute and start a conversation, like the 80% rule in that case. The next thing is that we have like a really complicated domain-specific language to basically query everything within your environment, where you can ask arbitrarily complex queries, but we found that some users are having a hard time generating those queries. So we were able to basically just write the queries, and it would take the queries and generate like the human text, and it would generate the corresponding like DSL.
So maybe people aren't always prompt engineering experts like our friend Jack was, right? So maybe they don't have the full language there, but they can get something simple into the tool here with Orca. Cool.
So yeah, it generated the query, and it basically took the bucket with PII and generated this query, which PII is personally identifying information. I almost
you barely that one.
But it basically allows us to show to give you the queries, and it's not always again perfect, but it gets you really, really close, and it allows our users to not master our entire data model, but to and still be able to get to what they need to do to get their work done. Sorry.
So you've got, so just like for our viewers out there, if you are on the proactive security side, right, these are identifying things that misconfigurations and vulnerabilities and risk management on the proactive side. You've got your alerts, your queue of things to fix that it has auto discovered and found, and we want to go back and remediate those. Boom, here is a code starting point for remediation. And then this other side, the searching side, is like risk hunting, where you're saying maybe your CISO or your chief risk officer, your CRO comes along and says, what PII, what health information, patient PHI, patient health information do we have that is potentially being exposed? And you're like, hey, I can fire that up really quickly. So
and also the next, I'm usually asked about sensitive information in Germany or in the EU specifically, so we can ask the query engine to generate those types of queries, and you can actually refine them until you get like the answer that you're looking for. And recently we started with our agent efforts. We have the Ask Orca, which is a really, really cool addition to the platform, where you basically get a cursor-like chat experience here. So the first thing you should notice is that I'm in the context of the current thing that I'm in right now, but I can basically lose this context and go to a different, or I can add a different context if I want to. And you can basically ask arbitrary questions. And the most important thing in any language, because we're speaking English, and and most people can understand English, but not everyone, especially in Asian or South or Latin America countries, they find it much easier to communicate in their native tongues. So we see, so this allows them to basically communicate with the platform in their native language of choice. So you can ask questions like, who's responsible for this asset, which is like the question that every security person is asking.
Who's in charge of this thing, right? Yeah. How did that happen? How did this get spun up? Why is it running now?
Yeah. So my when we used to before the cloud, when we were still in the data center, this question had a really quick answer. You would just unplug the server and wait, and someone would come.
I'm reading the top of that, and I still want to unplug that server there, Yoav. That looks pretty bad.
Yeah. So, but it allows us to basically ask arbitrary questions, and the agent has the ability to access all the data model within the context of the current user in the platform and ask very complex queries. It can like work for minutes to generate like a really succinct answer, and it's one of those things that allows. We thought it's going to be only for our customers, but we find that our CS and support and also our developers are using it all the time to work with the system and do a lot of things. So it's really useful for everything.
Absolutely. So can you, therefore, it's recommending, hey, you can't just unplug this thing. It's also, it looks like it's showing you dependencies. And is it giving you responsive like recommendations based on the exposure of the action that's going to be taken as well?
So you can ask for recommendations, but you can also like you can tell him what should they start with, or what's the leading issues, or what type of data does it have. and it tries to compile this information into a single bucket. But
Wow.
but also it has access to our exposure data, so it can tell you what is this accessible from the internet or from external networks. What types of users does it have access? Can it access other things? So you can basically go ahead and look for those other things that it can access. So, for example, we have an SSH key. We have an AWS key here, which corresponds to this AWS users who has all those additional permissions. So you can basically look at the entire risk of this environment from this lens, which is
you're doing like a threat model, dynamic threat model on the fly here for that asset.
Yes,
very personalized threat model per asset. This is great, Yoav. Yeah, no, the visualization is great for us humans. That we may be reading.
We're not agents yet.
Right, we're not agents yet. We're to string that together. What else could go wrong should this thing be compromised, or if it is compromised? Great work.
Thank you. So I'm done with showing things. We can ramble back on AI.
That's awesome.
Well done, sir. And then, so I noticed, right, in that tool, a lot of focus on adding additional context to an event or an alert. I imagine, and of course, you're spanning across multiple clouds. Thank you for doing that, by the way. I mean, hey, people run things in multiple areas. We all, you might be surprised, right? But if you call AWS for some help with an incident response, you're going to get help and advice with partners in security incident response using partners across other areas of your environment as well. What about companies that are asking these questions? And Brian, I think you and I have been in these meetings before recently. They ask us, how do I get visibility on what my developers or just users of my company are using for AI? The visibility of it. Again, the age-old security saying you can't secure what you can't see. I'm looking at maybe Orca, your technology, at least for the cloud environments. If AI is in use or an MCP server is being called from an application running in the cloud, I think you can see that, right? With Orca, you can present that to people.
Yeah, definitely. You can basically show them all the AI services that they're using in the cloud, for example, Bedrock and SageMaker. But you can also see the data to use for training. And on the flip side, we can find you all the MCP servers in your environment. So it's one of those things that it's really nice to show it to a prospect and have them tell me, yeah, we don't use MCP in the company, we don't allow it, and then finding out that apparently they're used and quite popular. But again, I think that in the case of visibility, it's like AI is very similar to any previous technology that we were hyped about. It's just the amount that it was very useful very quickly to a lot of people. And I think that's what scares people, the rate of change, not just the technology. Technology itself is, if I bucket it down to, I can see where it's data security is part of it, where you want to make sure that no data leaks your environment. And there is also part of it is application security, where you don't want like things like prompt injection, basically doing things that SQL injection did a few years back. And there is there is this thing where they're non-deterministic or stochastic, depending on who you're talking to. So if like, I wrote this code, I write unit tests for this code. Why is this code misbehaving when exposed to cosmic radiation, or I don't know, like any other thing? So
solid.
Brian did warn you all, audience, so we might get into some freaky stuff here. So
Sci-fi. Yeah, what happens when your code goes macro cosmic? So I was just gonna say, Yoav, you have so much visibility into so much security data. As I understand, this goes into the Orca research pod, right? And what are you finding in this research pod? Like, what are you guys seeing? What is it that is is coming out of all the visibility that you have?
So first, we publish an annual report, what we call State of the Cloud, and you're more than happy to check it out. It tries to summarize the trend that we're seeing across our entire state. But one of the cool things is that you get to see trends and one of the cool trends that we're seeing is that customers can, using the platform, adopt good practices and close out the most critical things. You mentioned context before, so context is key, and context it gets repopularized right now for the LLMs or agents that we're talking about. Context engineering is now a term thrown around a lot. But for us, it means that you're working, you do things that have an impact within your environment, and we have like a customer who I'm really proud saying that they just went to their board meeting and said that they came to 0 critical vulnerabilities on exposed assets, and they have one of the biggest footprints I've seen in the world. So.
Hey, that's not a bad report card.
No, it's an amazing report card, and it's a great testament to their security program, and we're really glad that we could be part of their journey there. But it's one of those things that you're saying, if a company at that size, at that scale can do it, it means that the visibility and the right programs can actually make a huge difference.
And what's your opinion, Yoav, on the attacker, the bad actor side of the house? Are they going to continue to use, obviously, AI to make emails sound better, or are they going to use it for really advancing malware campaigns? Which way do you think you're going to go?
What worries me is the deep fakes. If you can talk to your CEO and see your CEO and make sure and see him and he has the right cadence and the right, like, you see him and this guy is fake, yeah, we're doomed. Like it's going to, like, right now that there is a great distortion of the perception of reality in that case. Like, I'm not sure. I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old at home. I don't know what's going to be real or not real for them, like, in a few years. My daughter right now expects that she can talk to the phone and the phone can generate images for her. So it's usually like a long conversation where she just asks for unicorns and she gets something else and then she screams at the phone. But you like, it's a really, really interesting time to live in.
It is.
I'm not sure that my kids are real. I'm just kidding.
The lawn's getting mowed. I know one of your sons is real. Yoav, we are running short on time, but before we let you go, what's the last thing you ordered on Amazon.com?
A sewing machine for my wife.
What a good husband.
What a good wife. You know, I mean, hey.
No, it's for her birthday. I hope she's not watching because it's a surprise.
Audience,
gosh.
I'll help Yoav out. Keep it quiet, at least for another day, 2 week. How far out are we?
Yeah. Dude, we're not getting, we don't have Prime in Israel. We have to wait.
Very nice. Well, Yoav from Orca Security, thank you for joining us, sir, on Security Live. Don't forget, we stream every other Tuesday, 8 to 9 a.m. Pacific. Until next time, see you all later.
Bye, everyone.